So this week is week 9. Sleep.
I love sleeping.
Oh, me too.
I love sleeping.
And my up band is.
How do we feel about sleep? So the up band is good feedback on
It
it.
is. It's great because I don't realize I have done it every day and tracked every day for the last, I don't remember how many days. But I sleep more than I realize.
That's a good realization,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us more about that.
You know, I guess I just lay down, I go to sleep, I think, oh, I probably, I may get, 7 hours or whatever. I just don't realize how early I actually go to bed, I guess. So, and I have a pretty consistent pattern of deep sleep. Not a lot of tossing and turning, where for most of the nights, last night not so much, I tossed and turned quite a bit, and my up band and my app showed the differences between last night versus the last few nights that I had really gotten some good deep sleep. And I felt more rested those nights than I did today.
So let me ask you this. You felt that before you plugged it in and saw the
did.
feedback. Okay, so you
I did.
feel the difference, and then you get the visual and the objective data feedback as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you feel like so far the up band has helped raise your awareness?
Very much so, yeah.
And has it affected how much sleep you're getting, or has it just raised your awareness? Like, has it caused you to go to bed earlier?
Yeah, I do.
Do you? Okay.
I do. Yeah, a little earlier than normal. Sometimes I'll just sit and watch TV because, if I really want to go lay down, I don't know. But now I'm like, oh my God, I got my thing on. I got to turn it on. I'm like, going to bed. I'm going to go see how many hours.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Rather than just sitting there doing something like watching TV.
So in the end, the sleep, because you have read up on it and you're more educated and you're trying to be healthier, you know that the sleep is going to benefit you more than watching the television.
It will, hopefully.
Or, okay.
Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. And
We do.
I am dying.
Really? Did you take it out by your own will, or?
Isn't it supposed to be healthier not to?
Yes.
Yeah, supposed to.
I'm sorry.
Very much. No, it's really hard for me.
Yeah.
I am missing Jimmy Kimmel so much.
Well, doesn't he come on like a 10 or 11?
10:30.
I mean, I don't know. But
Yeah,
that's what I've
Super
heard.
bed.
But he was my
I'm gonna eat a clock,
routine,
though.
my
Yeah.
habit, and people greatly rely on their routine.
Mhm.
And now I've not watched him in 3 weeks or so, and I'm just like, oh.
It may get to a
It's
point-
getting a little
yeah.
easier,
Yeah.
but it's really a hard habit to break.
Mhm.
Very hard.
I can't stand having a
I don't know
TV
how.
on. Really? Or radio or anything. I have to just have dead quiet.
I'm almost having to detox from TV. I've switched to my iPad, but my up band has made me more aware of sleep. Yes. So that's been good. Anybody else feelings on sleep?
I keep getting my Sleeping Beauty award. Not award, but
I never achieved that.
you need to like more than 8 hours.
You get a over
Yeah.
100%.
You get like a 3-day streak. Okay.
Sleeping Beauty.
Okay. And do you feel like you feel better when you get that 8 hours of sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I was doing some reading though, and it said, because I have an up band as well, and they said as you get older, your percentage of deep sleep versus light sleep kind of equalizes rather than being one or the other. That me, I go in patterns. It's not big blocks of sleep. Does anybody else have where they have big blocks?
I don't
Deep
myself,
sleep.
but I know my mother, who's 95, throughout the years, she just rests. I mean, she doesn't have any really deep sleep for long periods of time.
Does she nap during the day?
She's
Sometimes they say
all
like
the
even a
time.
10 or 15-minute nap is better than even.
Yeah, I've talked to her about it because it was just interesting, because she's like, it looks like she's sleeping all the time, but she said, really, I'm just closing my eyes and she has dementia too. So it just kind of like, it's not really
So,
deep
but
sleep.
you're right. So all that's going to come down to why we're here today, but you guys have really come full circle on it and you didn't really realize why. Okay, so let's piecemeal all this together, because then I'm going to see a bunch of light bulbs say, aha, even though you might know some of it already. So what Anne said was that as you get older, which is true, you have different sleeping patterns. First of all, who views sleep as important to feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
Who, you're like my sister. Who, I know objectively it's important for you all.
What about you?
No. But I am, it's my biggest thing that I need to work on. Okay, so we all view it as important. Who views it as important for overall health? We said for feeling good, yes. How about for overall health? Okay. Who views it for weight maintenance or loss or control? Okay. It's actually important for all of those. Some of them objective numbers and some of them, you know, softer quality, how you feel, and that's all relative. Okay, so we all view it as important in some fashion. And Anne said as you get older, you have less deep or the quality sleep, right? And you kind of give a testimonial as your mother. True, and we've seen that. What also do people do as they get older as far as weight? They gain weight. They are related. So what's, but it doesn't have to be. So what's causing that?
Less activity.
Less activity, but they can say that's from not good sleep.
What
What causes the weight gain and the less sleep or less quality sleep? What's it been linked to? Hormones.
Yeah.
It's the hormones. So sleep is directly related to the weight gain or loss based off of the hormones because it does help control those. If the less sleep you get, the more of the ghrelin you get, which makes you want to eat, right? And the less leptin you get, which puts on the control factor. So those hormones are going up and down. So is your sleep pattern, which we can see in those up bands, which is pretty cool. Just think of your hormone levels doing that as well, right? What? Amy, you look like you're...
I'm just like, yeah, I know.
Is it light bulb? Kind of, it's
No,
all, you knew a lot of it,
I
but
knew a lot of it.
I want it to come full circle. So that's why sleep is really important, particularly as you get older, but you don't feel like you need nearly as, well, a lot of people don't feel like they need nearly as much when you're younger. You go, because you have that naturally high metabolism. But the metabolism starts to slow down, so your hormones, your sleep, when all that starts to be not the same as it was when you were younger, you start to gain weight. Doesn't have to be that way though, right? So how do you prevent some of that hormonal imbalance and fluctuation?
Get enough sleep.
Get enough sleep.
Well, that's the same pattern of sleep.
You can get, you know, like like you said, going to bed earlier, which is why we have that challenge going on right now. Making a lifestyle choice, like we talk about eating vegetables, getting your exercise, going to bed is a lifestyle choice, right? You might not always get the sleep that you need and want, but at least you made the effort to go to bed. That's step one, okay? Make sense? Okay. What do you do throughout the day to help you sleep better? What's going to give you better quality sleep?
Physical activity.
Physical activity, getting how much a day?
Oh, 30. I'm thinking of sleep.
Wow, what do
8
you
hours
order?
of exercise.
Okay. It really does make a big difference. Even if you don't get more sleep, if you get your physical activity in the half hour a day at least, you'll get a better quality sleep. And that's what we're talking about, getting the better quality. So you have those bigger chunks of the deep sleep, less of the light sleep, right? Or at least a better ratio. Does that make sense? Who sleeps better when they get your physical activity during the day? So
Yeah.
I'll come back to that because you know what that's called.
Yeah.
That's quite often called a plateau. So I'll get to that, but we talk about going to bed earlier, which is the challenge, getting your half-hour physical activity in, okay? So at least increasing your chances of getting better quality sleep. You can't always control the quantity, but when the hormones start to go up and down and all this, a lot of people say that they will wake up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, wide awake, then you get frustrated. What happens at that point? Shout out some things that happen at that point.
Something resets in your brain at that time of the night, I think.
Some things can reset in your
Yeah.
brain. Still, quite often, influenced by hormones.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
So a lot of times people get up at 3 and eat.
Yeah.
They will eat, which causes the weight gain. And what do they eat? Broccoli.
I grabbed a banana.
Well, you're a good girl because not everybody does that.
They're eating junk food.
They quite often eat the junk food because they're frustrated and mad, so they're going to the comfort food, which puts it on here, right? Becomes this giant vicious cycle. Okay, so you wake up, eat, then you don't sleep during the day, so then, or during the night, so then you're either A, crabby, or B, stressed about it, so you eat more, and then you're too tired to exercise. So you don't, then again, at night, you don't get that quality sleep. So it just becomes this over and over. So the things that you can control, going to bed that half hour early, getting that half hour of exercise because it helps that quality sleep. I always tell people when they first start doing exercise or physical activity, sometimes those 2 weeks actually you feel worse, the first 2 weeks, because you're going to be more tired. Because you're expending more calories and more energy. But like clockwork, when I've worked with people and they've done that physical activity 5-6 days a week, for those 2 weeks, oh, they hate me. But if they stuck to it, it's like they wake up that 15th day and they're like, oh, I feel awesome. They really do, and they do not believe me in that 2 weeks. It's brutal. It is brutal. They think weird things, like I've actually had people think they had the flu or cancer, and I'm like, no, just please trust me. It will happen. You'll get that boost of energy, and it's usually day 15 or 16. Then they start to sleep better. But like you said, you have to reset something. You can either reset it negatively by following those patterns, where you get up, you eat, then you're tired all day, or you can reset it if you can kind of persevere, suck it up for those 2 weeks, then you can reset it in a positive way. But it's those, you gotta hit those things every day. So when you wake up at the 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you start to get stressed, and then you feel icky throughout the rest of the day, and you eat icky things, and the rest of the day, you just kind of coast. You either feel foggy, or you're kind of crabby. There's another hormone that's coming out at that point that increases the stress, and that adds to that vicious cycle. Anybody know what that stress is? That hormone.
Cortisol?
It's the cortisol. That's the stress hormone. So when that happens, it actually sends a lot of other hormones, increases your risk of belly fat, heart disease, diabetes, and it just plugs into that cycle, okay, of the lack of quality sleep, feeling tired, eating crappy. It just goes on and on. So you want to get that cortisol under control, and one of those ways is to burn it off through the physical activity, okay? Anybody feel better after you've had a really good workout?
Usually.
Very much so. And I personally feel like it's therapy at this point. I feel way better, way better. It keeps headaches at bay for me. Personal testimony, I used to take tons of ibuprofen 15, 16 years ago, to the point where I was eating my stomach. And the doctor said, you have got to stop eating all this ibuprofen. You're going to be in some big trouble. And I started going for a run with one of my roommates. It just, my headaches weren't there all the time. And so now I know if I go 3 or 4 days without getting a good workout in, I can feel a headache come on. It's the absolute truth. But I can keep them at bay. It's almost like preventative medicine by getting my exercise in, which is pretty cool, I think. Anybody else know that you're in a better mood when you've exercised?
The guilt from not exercising, that's almost worse.
Then you have the cortisol.
Yep. Yep.
No, you get the guilt, you get dependent on it. But all those come into play, and it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't have to do the marathon, but if you do the half-hour sleep, these are so valuable for getting that feedback. They're kind of making you go to bed earlier. The challenge, I want people to kind of see that. But then ways to improve your quality of sleep is getting that physical activity in. I promise, that will help. What else helps you get that quality sleep?
Laying off the coffee. And
Decreasing the caffeine and stimulants.
Not eating close to bedtime.
True. So for the coffee and caffeine, what is the recommendation?
So it's 6 to 8 hours before bed. You're not supposed to have any.
And what's the max for the day?
3 cups.
3 cups, 2 cups.
It's about 2 cups of coffee per day,
Mm.
or the equivalent of if you're having other.
Or a gallon.
And that's a cup, like a measuring cup. It's not a
Whoops.
2 of these. What? What? No, it's this, which is nothing.
Sorry.
What the heck is that? Yeah, this is probably 2 servings.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch your serving size. Serving size is very important, which we talked about before. So the caffeine, no more than 2 cups a day, and they have the milligram equivalent, but it's 2 cups of coffee or the equivalent in other substances, legal. And then 6 to 8 hours beforehand. Some people are more sensitive to it, but making sure you're not having caffeine late at night. There is some school of thought that you shouldn't exercise 4 hours before bed. I think that's really dependent on the person. They say that as a general rule, but I've seen a lot of people who are still able to and still get quality sleep. Anybody exercise at night?
All the time.
Wow. Okay. And do you feel like it affects your sleep positively or negatively?
I sleep better.
If you exercise, you sleep better.
I can't sleep right away though.
Oh, you can go to sleep faster.
Some people can, yeah.
When I exercise in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I'm tired afterwards. I feel like I have to go to bed and go to sleep. So
Interesting.
I don't like to sleep in the morning.
Yeah, it doesn't invigorate me in the morning at all either.
Oh,
Yeah.
does me.
Yeah.
I
But that's
am-
been a conditioned response for me. for
It is.
several
It can be a
years.
conditioned response
Yeah.
too.
Mhm. When we had that plank challenge, or
Uh-huh.
not plank,
The burpee challenge.
burpee challenge and stuff, I did it right before I went to bed.
Oh
Did you do
my.
those?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But
it isn't because I always left it and I thought, oh, I gotta get these in, you know,
Wow.
and I, once in a while I was lying in bed and haven't done my burpees.
You are dedicated, ma'am.
No, I wanted to do that so badly.
You wanted to accomplish it.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean,
Good.
it wasn't like it was your vigorous burpee that you would do.
It doesn't matter. You did it.
Sit back and get out of bed to do them.
So the less caffeine, the exercise, again, I think that's a personal thing. If you feel like it keeps you up, then don't do it. It's still exercise. Just don't do it right before bed. The not eating before bed, it's good for health to not eat or drink before bed, usually about 3 hours. You get better quality sleep because when you lay down, food can come back up and cause acid reflux and disturb your sleep. Alcohol also disturbs your sleep. Although most people say I'm going to have a nightcap, I'll be put to sleep.
Helps me, yeah, it does.
I don't know. I'm not saying this is an experiment you should do, but I have heard and seen that if you do have alcohol before bed, your quality of sleep is not as good. I'm just saying that I've observed it. Then
Screen time.
screen time as well for your quality of sleep. An hour before is a good rule of thumb. That's your phone, that's your iPad, that's your television, but in particular the phone and the iPads and computers. There's the backlight on those is supposed to simulate the retina and cause you to, what's that?
Get your brain moving
Uh-huh.
without you even knowing it.
Right, and I agree. The final thing, because we need to get going, we talked about the cortisol buildup, the stress hormone. Healthy food can combat that. It helps to take it away. So eating your vegetables, dark leafy greens, and the brighter colored fruits and vegetables, peppers, oranges, berries, that will help control the cortisol as well. So a healthier diet. So when we have less cortisol, you're going to sleep better. And in the end, you can help at least put off the weight gain and the lack of quality sleep as you age. But you can do something about it right now too. And we're always thinking about long-term health, but think about the short-term health. That's what this challenge is about. So, anybody else making an effort to go to bed early?
Don't need to.
Don't need to?
No, I mean, I've always.
Oh, that's good. Anybody else? I'm making
Need to.
effort.
Yeah.
It's probably my biggest monkey on my back.
Mine isn't so much going to bed, it's other people waking me up early.
And
What, your
Five.
job?
My children. Well, I do, yeah, that's at 4 in the morning I'm doing my job and I sleep. Yes, all the time. No, my daughter gets up at 5 and my husband gets up at 6. And do I need to get up at any of those times? No, because that all stirs up the animals, and then they start running around. I've been putting audiobooks in and going to sleep.
Earplugs help a lot, anybody's tried for quality of sleep too, if you're a light sleeper. So, any questions on sleep? Did you learn something about the different cycles that you go through as far as eating, exercise, sleep, and how they can be positively affected or negatively? And tell me one thing that you are willing to do this week to help better quality of sleep.
Less caffeine.
Okay, now you know the guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you exceed them?
Definitely. Not with pop. I don't drink pop unless it's a treat, but definitely with coffee.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Try to at least get the 30 minutes in every day consistently.
For the physical activity?
Shutting the phone off, that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, mine too.